Hey, Rob Brown with Clark Marine, and I'd like to talk to you on this video about Avalon's Thru-Flow seating. It's something that they had patented. Their seating in their pontoons really is one of those points of difference. It's one of those things that you can point to in looking at competitive boats and how is it built, how is it engineered, and why is it engineered and built that particular way. They've been doing this for decades now. It is a seat that, one, the type of materials they use to begin with really set it apart, but also the engineering of the seat. There's very little plastic involved in the seat process, the seat building process. As a matter of fact, you've got some reinforcement inside the seat that is Lexan, and you do have these new rotomolded, or what are the kick panels that are all plastic that don't wick any moisture whatsoever. We used to have aluminum panels but had carpet on them. It still would wick a little bit. These don't wick at all, and there are certain inlays in them that allow for a little bit more airflow. And let me show you the inside. I'll work from the inside out to begin with, because this is really the real difference that you'll see. When you look at inside an Avalon seat, you'll notice that the structure is all aluminum welded framework. You have here, you have what is it's about a 1/2 inch thickness of under seat matting, and you can see it's really corrugated. It's got some holes in it. That is there so that when you put life jackets or maybe a jacket or a pair of shoes, and you do get some moisture from the being on the water, it keeps it separated, set up so that it doesn't wick into the product, so on those pieces. If you look, it's hard to see here, but if you look at the outside also, you'll see that there is a little bit of, get this guy to turn up. You can kind of see there's on the rail between the base rail and the deck itself, you can see a little lighting come through there. You got about a 1/4 inch, 3/8 of an inch gap. What you get, even if the boat is sitting still and you've got a little airflow, you'd end up with air being able to circulate throughout the seat, and it comes in and it circulates and is able to go out. This in itself is one of those points of difference. If you have a plastic seat base, completely rotomolded base, in most cases you don't have that air circulation. So anything that's inside that box is susceptible to a lot of condensation. Once you're holding that moisture there, you end up building up a little bit of mold, mildew, fungus. You get it underneath the seats also. So that's one of the real points of difference with the Avalon seating, is we just don't deal with that near as much. Also, one of the big points that Avalon has, they have what they call suspension seating. You've got a light cutout underneath the base of this. You can see it quite easily. You've got this mesh that helps support it to a degree. You've got a heavy piece of foam here, and the density itself helps to make that a more comfortable seat. Now, when you first sit on it, it's a little more rigid because the foam itself collapsing and the distribution allows you to basically not have a bunch of reinforcement under. It doesn't need it. The foam itself takes care of that for you. The longer you sit on the seat, though, you're not completely compressing the foam, so it remains a very comfortable seat to sit in. A couple hours or an hour into the ride, you don't feel like you're sitting on a buckboard. So that's one of the exclusive features of a Avalon seat also. The type of materials that they use, of course, you have a full complement of colors. There are a couple of different styles of the vinyl, but all in all, they use mostly a Matrix 50. It's a 3-layer, has a herringbone back that is there so that you don't have any memory on that. Once you stand up, you notice now it's nice and smooth back. You've got a vinyl covering, and you also have a layer in between, which is a true vinyl. Plenty of strength to this. One of the most strongest vinyls that you can use in a pontoon. It's there and made to have for a long time. Of course, you want to maintain it like you would any other piece of vinyl on your boat. If you look at the Avalon seating also, there were times that they had a lot of pleats and a lot of fancy inlays. They may look a little bit plain, but they're that way for a reason. The exterior of the boat, the smooth walls, is very reminiscent of the interior as well. They're looking for a nice smooth finish. You've got some inlays, and in certain ways you can have different colors, but in most cases, hand stitched, it's all double stitched, but it's very smooth and easy to maintain, easy to clean, the less likely to have pollen and airborne particles building up in the seams. Much easier to clean up, to keep clean. One last thing that I'd like to point out is a lot of the new boats and the competitive boats use the rails, and the rail is on top of the wall skin itself, meaning the wall skin is on the inside, it's up against the seat frame itself. And what you get there is an area that you can house water, and then again build up mold, mildew, fungus in those areas because it doesn't have any way to dry itself out. Here, with the airflow and the wall skin being removed by 1 inch or 1.25 inches from the seat frame, that airflow also allows it to dry out. So what you end up with is a much drier seat, closes on a much better basis for a longer period of time. And that's what it's all about. This isn't a boat that you're going to need to trade every 3, 4, 5 years. This is a boat that has a 10-year warranty. The vinyl has a 10-year warranty. Your flooring has a 10-year warranty. Several things we can talk to you about that that are covered by Avalon. They've been able to test this. They know it to be true. And if you have any questions on this, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you or have a little Zoom meeting, whatever, and go over seating, because when it comes down to it, it's a pretty boat. You want to keep your boat looking pretty for a long period of time. Avalon gives you the tools to be able to do that through their design and the materials that they use. Once again, Rob Brown with Clark Marine, Avalon Seating, and why it should be your first choice.